Hi guys, welcome to DOdaily Thursday Thoughts. Des here, hope you're all well. Cracking on towards the weekend now. Hope you enjoyed yesterday, by the way, the Wednesday workout. I did, bit achy today, really struggled with the walk-in, but love getting out there, love getting involved, being back involved in everything. After the injury, it's always the first thing we want is to get involved in all these challenges, and with the lack of races and lack of events right now, it was really great to get out there. Really enjoyed it. We'll have another one next week, so hopefully you can join us for that. For today, of course, it's your questions answered. Last week we touched upon marathons and ultras and that end of the scale, so what I thought I'd do, in the interest of fairness, not that these things don't sort of cross over in various ways anyway, is answer some of the questions from the guys who are just starting out, asking about other things such as walking and things like that. Of course, been talking about that a lot recently, and in the next few days you'll hear a lot more on that as well. Do you know what we're trying to do through DOrunning and DOdaily is encourage activity of all different sorts, do you know, to bring everybody into the equation, be as inclusive as possible, not to frighten people to get involved. So I think it's important today, particularly after last week, and after all the epic things that have gone on in the last few days, to talk about getting involved again, building up and getting to where you want to be. So without any further ado, I'll start with a question from Claudia, who, thanks for that, Claudia. She's been doing the Couch to 5k. She asked, is it always, she asked me personally, did I find it easy sort of building up, and was it a natural progression, or was there some weeks where it was particularly tough? Well, what I will say, Claudia, is first of all, I didn't actually start with a Couch to 5k. I actually started on my own, which kind of defeats the purpose of DOrunning, because now we've got this amazing group. I think it's the best way to get involved through sort of Couch to 5k and things like that. But I actually started out by running to a lamppost and then running to the next lamppost, and the time after I had to run to the next lamppost. Did I always find it easy, or as easy as the time before? No. I find it really tough every day, to be honest, but there comes a point when you kind of, for me personally, there came a point where I felt like I'd not cracked it. That's not the right word, because you never crack it, but one day you'll just go out and run, and you'll run and you'll just keep running, and you'll be surprised at how far you do. I was running 1.8 miles for a long time and getting really frustrated, and then one day I went and ran 3 miles, which is 5k, do you know, so the buzz I got from that was amazing. So it just comes, do you know, it's not an easy thing to do, running in general. I always say this, it's never easy, even now. So if you can sort of just deal with those bad days, do you know, what you can do is almost mix up your routes, try something, try hills, try different locations, you know, just to mix it up a bit, just to sort of stop you thinking about what you're doing. Claudia followed that question up as well about obsessing about times and is it good to be doing this? Well, not really, but it is a great it's a great way of measuring progress. It's great to see where you are. Progress builds confidence, and confidence makes you enjoy it, you know, and that's what gets us all into it and gets us the bug ultimately. So what I'd say about that, if you're looking for slightly different ways, perhaps take the watch off, you know, leave the phone at home. They call it a naked run. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. A great ways, what I used to do, because I always like to record it, I used to sort of leave my watch at home, run, come back and switch it back on again, switch it off again, sorry. Do you know, just again, sometimes you surprise yourself without looking at the time, without knowing how far you've gone. Do you know, you really surprise yourself. You might have done a bit more distance, and you might have ran a bit faster because you're trying to sort of justify it to yourself in your head. So I would really advise not to obsess about time. Do you know, it comes naturally. The more you run, I've said it many times before, if you run 5k 10 times, you will naturally run it quicker on the 10th time than the first time. Do you know, so please sort of accept those bad days. Sometimes we'll go out and we're not quite prepared. We might have eaten at the wrong time, or we might have got up late, or we might be rushing about. It's just about sort of getting out there. Everyone's a good one, and I think that's important to remember. It really is it, especially at Couch to 5K stage. Most of us, well, all of us do run for enjoyment. Some obviously run to a bit of a higher standard than others, but if you're not a performance athlete, it's just about enjoying it, and like I say, all one's a good one. So hopefully that answers that, Claudia. Sort of along the same lines, Indo asked about music and how that can play a part in what we do. Again, and Indo mentions power music and what do I listen to and do I recommend it? Well, to be honest, when I used to run on my own, before I got into the groups and formed Do Running, I used to listen to music all the time. Again, it's a great way to sort of keep you motivated. I used to sort of work on the basis each song is about 4 or 5 minutes, and that's about half a mile at the pace I was running. Might be a bit more, but I used to kind of sing the songs through and think that's another half mile. And certain songs that come on, they might be longer, or they might be sort of a lot more tempo to them, and I feel myself striding out and feeling strong and feeling like I was Rocky Balboa. Those kind of things all have a massive impact in what we do, and it are all really sort of great ways to motivate. One playlist I listen to all the time when I do listen to music, when I am running on my own, is the Rocky soundtrack. Again, it's designed to sort of get you going, get you excited, get your heart rate up, and it's great to train to. What I will say on that, since I've run with people a lot more in a group, I tend not to listen to music so much. So I'll enjoy people's company, I'll have chatty runs, even without people, I'll tend to run off and just enjoy the surroundings, and much more as I've been injured and got into walking, I'm starting to notice more what's around me. So whilst music's great, and really does the trick, like I say, my particular pick is Rocky, the Rocky soundtrack. Bizarrely enough as well, and I get a lot of stick from this from the people in Do Running, John Legend, the song All of Me. For some reason it just makes me run fast. It makes me really stride out and go for it. But all that kind of epic stuff works. But yeah, it's a great motivator, particularly if you're on your own, and those power songs really sort of do the trick. So it's completely up to you though. Some can't stand listening to music. Don't quite get that, but that's their preference. If you're doing an event, for example, I wouldn't listen to music. It's all about taking it in. I saw people at the London Marathon last year sort of running around with music in their ears, and I thought, what a waste, what an experience that was. The best running experience I've ever had, and I really, really enjoyed that. So I thought it was important to sort of take all that in. The amount of people that shouted my name that day was incredible. So I can't sort of advise music for events like that, but for training, just be careful, of course. Whilst you're out on the roads and in built up areas, you've always got to be conscious. Everyone's a little bit guilty when they've got headphones in sometimes of ignoring the surroundings. So just be careful. Make sure it's not too loud. Make sure you can hear what's going on, and make sure you stay safe. But again, it comes down to preference. So good question, that, Inda. I appreciate that. Suki, she's looking to get back into running, and asking me for my ideas on how to do that. And my honest answer is, I don't know how you get back into running. What I can do is tell you how to get into running. Basically, the way I started, and I've mentioned this before, I wasn't actually looking to take up running sort of full time. I wasn't looking for all the benefits. What I did is start running to lose weight. So I think the key to the key to that question, and the answer, I guess, is find your motivation other than running to take up running, whether it's to lose weight, whether it's to improve your mental health, whether it's to meet new friends, and work off that basis. The running sort of looks after itself. Going back to Claudia's question and improvement, I said there that the more you do it, the more you get into it, and eventually something clicks and you get the bug, and you you're caught up within this crazy community that loves what they do. So I think it's key there, Suki, just to sort of realise why you want to run. I use the weight, I use the results from the weight to keep running, then like I said, you look, without obsessing, I was looking at times, I was looking how far I'd gone, and I was just pushing myself that little bit more. And then one day I didn't go for a run and I felt guilty, and then that's when I realised that perhaps I've been taken by the bug here. So that'll be my advice on that one. Just focus on what it is that makes you want to run. It's not easy. I always say that. So if it's the enjoyment, if you've done it before and it's the enjoyment that you felt, remember that feeling. That's important. We quickly forget that once that great feeling's died down, but it's important to remember what it does. Remember the people involved, the inspiration you get off people, all those things build up to sort of making you want to go again. So it's just about remembering those key things or using a different motivation. On the walking side of things, Dom's asked whether walking has the same impact as running for the same distance, and we kind of answered this last week in terms of different activities and tying them both together: running, cycling, swimming, these kind of things. The basic answer is, Dom, if you want to walk a 5k, the only way I'd ever say it will have almost the same impact, because you'll be doing it for double the time. A 30-minute walk won't match up to a 30-minute run. You'll burn more calories, you'll get much more from that run. But if you're going to do a 30, 35, 40-minute 5k, if that's what you might be capable of, it would be worth then thinking of walking double. You might have noticed recently I've been doing a lot of walking, I've been injured, I've been encouraging daily activity and people to get out there. And basically my rule of thumb in general, I don't really spark this up in case somebody pulls me up on it, but I try to do 30 minutes exercise a day, and I've tried this for a long time now, and I do it most days, to be honest, unless I'm really poorly and not able to. But what I've been and 30 minutes for me is a 5k. I can do it in less than that when I'm feeling good, but I know I can complete 5k in 30 minutes. So if I can go out there for a 5k 3-mile run, I've completed my exercise. And the point I'm getting to is, because I've done a lot of walking, I'll still walk 5k, which means I'm going to be walking for a lot longer. So I'm going to be walking double, burning just as much calories. I've seen recently there's suggestions that walking can actually be really good training for marathon, for people who are training for marathon. It can be really useful because it's all about time on feet, and whilst it takes longer to cover the distance, it's all about being on your feet. If you're injured slightly injured in the build up to a marathon, you might go out for a walk and just spend that time. So a lot less pressure on the body. Going back to what Dom asked, if it is because of weight loss, walking can be effective. You probably just need to sort of double or do a bit more of a strenuous walk. Find hills. Hills always come into the equation when it comes to burning calories and mixing up the activity. But find hills. Walk at a brisk pace. If I'm really feeling it, I'll go out there and I'll stick something in my ears. Tend to listen. Going back to Suki's question, I tend to listen. Inda's question, sorry. I tend to listen to a lot more music when I'm walking, a lot more podcasts, a lot more things, because I've got my wits about me a bit more, I guess. So I'll get the headphones in and then I'll go out on a brisk walk, and I can do that 5k in 50 minutes and that kind of thing. And I've probably done as many calories as I can do in a running 5k. So it's just about sort of expanding on it. You can't just substitute, just like the cycling and the swimming, you can't just substitute that activity for walking. What you'd have to do is almost double the time. If, of course, Couch to 5k comes into it, you could start interspersing running with walking. It's just easy runs, 30 seconds here and there. Check out Couch to 5k programs. Email me. couldn't get that out. And I can email a Couch to 5K program. And even if you just do the first couple of weeks, of the plan, it's just a way of starting to build that running in. Might not want to run at all, but it's an easy way just to sort of burn those extra few calories. That's kind of the point I'm making. And Dawn's asked me a question. She's got a friend who's she's done the Couch to 5K and she's up to 5K now, and she's looking for sort of extra motivation, extra sort of inspiration or motivation to keep going, I guess. She wants to keep running, but of course with lockdown and the fact that park runs are great sort of, I guess it's a sort of benchmark every week you can go, it's free, you get your time, and that's a perfect way for somebody coming into running to do the Couch to 5K and then just keep ticking over and trying to progress each week. I did mention a lot of things on last Wednesday's episode, last Wednesday workout, which would have been the first, so check that out. A lot of ways to keep motivated during lockdown. But I guess it's just about planning that next goal, whether it's 10K, or taking part in a virtual event, or just looking at a time, again, without obsessing too much. Work at a period, another 10-week period or an 8-week period or 12 or whatever your Couch to 5K was, and just work at that sort of effort of trying to break it down a bit. You don't have to beat it week on week. You might not beat it for 6 weeks and then give it a real go on the 7th. So it's just set yourself that little target. You don't need parkrun as such. You don't need the events. If you're really sort of motivated and you want to sort of progress, then your dedication will just get you through and keep you pushing on. Like I said, it's just about keep setting those targets, keep to that routine. Of course, what we do at DOdaily, the 7-day activity plan, whilst people don't get involved in every day, it's there and available for people to use, and it just offers that little bit of structure for when you want to use it. And that's why we do it, just to keep that plan together, for if you're running 5K, you could join us for the Solidarity Run on a Tuesday, and you're going to run every time that week. I've started doing not a park run, which is basically just entering your result onto the park run website. It's not the same, of course, but I know now I'm going to go out and run a 5K, and I'll tie that in with the Tuesday run. So it's just a way for me to keep ticking over, for me to keep progressing. Despite what I did yesterday in terms of a long run walk, I can't do lots and lots of exercise right now, lots and lots of strenuous exercise, but what I like to do is put these little things in throughout the week just to keep me ticking over. For as much as I love it, motivation still sort of flattens off a bit, So hopefully, guys, there's quite a bit to go there. Just to mention to Inda, check out the DOdaily running playlist on Spotify. I had that in again yesterday, really enjoyed that. If you want a song add-in, put it in the comments, I'll happily add those. Something upbeat. I'm looking for upbeat on this one. We've got a do running playlist as well, which is just a bit of everything. So check that out. It's still a great playlist, but looking for a really upbeat DOdaily playlist. I've got about 10-12 songs on there, so if you want to add something, add it in the comments. Just a quick one before we go, and again, Inda asked this question. I thought it was a great question, and I'm going to throw this back at you guys. I want lots of comments. I want you, and I'll read them out next week. Inda asked me a question about what event would I do at the Olympics if I could. What one event? And straight away, to be honest, the event I would love to do at the Olympics, it's not the 100 metres, I don't want to be Usain Bolt, I'd love to do the marathon. And I know that's a pretty boring answer from somebody who likes to think they're a long distance runner, but even when I was a kid, even when I was 6 stone heavier, when I was never running, watching the Olympics, I love the Olympics anyway, but my favourite event was always watching the marathon. And when they turned into the stadium, I just thought, what an epic feeling that would be to run into the stadium, do that last lap, in front of the crowd, sort of roaring after the achievement of running 26 miles. And I just, obviously, Paula Radcliffe, and awesome at what she does, and what an inspiration to women. And these days, Eliud Kipchoge, this year did the sub 2 hour marathon. What an achievement. I think that's the greatest sporting achievement ever. So much dedication, commitment and so much sort of pain he must have gone through to do that. So my choice would be the marathon. I want you guys to comment. What event would you love to take part in? Be great to see some of the answers, and again, just to get you thinking of different things. Should have been the Olympics coming up as well, and what an inspiration that time of year proves to be for all of us. So it'd be great to see that. Hopefully that's helped you guys to some extent. I've got lots of questions this week, so sorry I couldn't get through them all. I'll bank those and use them for when we've had a bit of a quieter week. But there's lots and lots to go at. I'll answer more questions next week. Keep commenting with those. Please like and share. Really got some good feedback this week. Some great episodes of DOdaily. Looking forward to wake up to walk tomorrow. Again, a chance to get out in Nottingham and look at somewhere different, attack the day how I want to, get myself in the right frame of mind. That's why I do it, We're talking more about walking. So, till then, see you tomorrow, guys. Just doing it.